Electric cars could release more toxic tyre particles than petrol vehicles, at least that's according to some scientists. All tyres shed potentially harmful microparticles due to friction with the road. It's a known problem, but EVs are usually heavier due to the weight of their batteries, and that can mean their tyres could wear down more quickly, releasing more particles. Not everyone backs these claims, and there is no suggestion that the release of the particles outweighs fuel emissions from petrol and diesel cars. Well, let's talk to James Tate, Associate Professor at the Institute for Transport Studies, part of the University of Leeds. James, good to see you. Welcome. First of all, help us here. Do EVs produce more tyre and brake particulate pollution than their petrol equivalents because they're heavier, those fat batteries?
Petrol and diesel vehicles, or brake wear, electric vehicles have obviously they have a vacuum-sealed electric motor that also works as a dynamo. So in the majority of kind of braking events, only extreme events in EVs do the mechanical brakes kick in. So that's one area where there's a big saving, and there's like reports of, Tesla's doing 250,000 miles on the clock, and they still have the factory-fitted brakes and they don't need replacing. So brake wear, not at all. Tyre wear, yes, arguably currently, but what a lot of people don't seem to grasp is quite how quickly electric vehicles are kind of lightweighting. So automotive battery technology is evolving so fast. We're able to get a lot more energy into a smaller and lighter battery, and that's happening year on year. So, yeah, arguably, yes, at the moment, but in a few years' time, diesel vehicles particularly, we expect to have kind of weight parity with electric vehicles.
If there is a problem with tyre particulates, I mean, what can be done to improve that? Is that about manufacturers upping their game? Is it about governments writing new legislation? What needs to be done? Yeah,
so tyre technology, there's not been a great deal of legislation around kind of tyre technology, and it's quite a challenging area because obviously there's kind of significant, it's not just about the health from an air pollution point of view, it's also health safety implications as well. So it's not just an environmental decision, but yeah, a lot more needs to be done here. And on roads that have very high levels of activity and vehicle activity, perhaps those roads need to be cleaned on a kind of systematic basis to remove any accumulated particles that could then be resuspended.
There's a huge push around the world, obviously, to go electric, but it's easy to forget, isn't it, the environmental damage of the manufacture of electric cars, shipping the vehicles, tyre pollution we've talked about, coal-fired power stations using to charge them up, the end-of-life disposal. I mean, there is no such thing as a green car, is there?
No, but let's also remember energy systems, power generation in many countries across the world are shifting to renewables very quickly. So yeah, in the UK, we've got a very kind of increasing over 50% share of renewable energy in the electricity grid. So yeah, driving electric vehicles in the UK is becoming an increasingly environmentally conscious decision. More challenges in China. There's lots and lots of electric vehicles, but there's a higher proportion charged from coal-fired power stations there.
James, good to talk to you. Thanks for coming on the programme. James Tate, Associate Professor at the Institute for Transport Studies, the University of Leeds.